A man in an expensive suit unlocks his garage before sunrise. Inside sits an old classic car from the 90s, paint chipped, engine stubborn, carrying the unmistakable smell of gasoline. Outside, parked in the driveway, is a brand new luxury SUV. Faster, quieter, safer, worth 3 times as much. He walks right past it. An hour later, he's on the floor of the garage, covered in grease, smiling over a bolt no one else will ever see him tighten. Nostalgia? Craftsmanship? Most people think they know why he's choosing the grease over the SUV. But the real reason is something deeper, and it starts with a state of mind most of us have forgotten how to reach. This is Psyche Drive, and today we're breaking down 6 real, psychological reasons smart people love classic cars, in order. The first reason hides in plain sight. It's flow. Think about an average Tuesday. Notifications, traffic, a dozen tiny decisions before you've even had coffee. Your brain rarely gets to sit with one problem for more than 90 seconds. Then a man steps into a garage. Phone stays in his pocket. For the next 2 hours, nothing exists except one stubborn bolt and one engine that refuses to start. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying this state and called it flow. His research found something counterintuitive. People are happiest not when they're doing nothing, but when they're fully absorbed in something hard enough to demand their attention without tipping into frustration. Here's the twist almost nobody mentions. It's not the car that creates that state, it's the resistance. A modern engine that starts every time gives the brain nothing to grab onto. A stubborn old carburetor offers exactly the difficulty flow requires. Hard enough to demand focus. Not so hard it becomes hopeless, and reliability accidentally destroys the very feeling people are chasing. Notice what actually disappears during those 2 hours. Not the problem in front of him. The noise around it. No tomorrow's meeting. No unread messages piling up somewhere. Just the bolt, the wrench, and the next 10 minutes. In a life built to fragment his attention, that garage might be the only room left where his focus belongs entirely to him. And once the noise of the world is shut out, the silence in that garage starts filling up with something else. Not more focus. Memory. That brings us to reason 2. Memory. Psychologists who study memory noticed we don't just remember old objects. We use them as doorways. A smell, a sound, even a dashboard shape can unlock something untouched for 30 years because memory doesn't work like a filing cabinet. It works like a web. Pull one thread and the whole chapter comes with it. Suddenly, it's not just an old car in that garage. It's his father teaching him to change a spark plug. A first summer job. A neighbor whose garage door was always open on Sunday mornings. These memories remind us our life is one continuous story, not a pile of disconnected moments. That's why 2 people can stand in front of the exact same car and see 2 completely different things. One sees outdated technology on cracked concrete. The other sees a version of himself he hasn't spoken to in 20 years. Which leads to the third reason. Identity. Consumer psychologist Russell Belk calls this the extended self. Certain possessions stop being objects and start becoming part of how we see ourselves. Not because they're valuable, but because they carry meaning. Scratch that man's SUV and he shrugs, files a claim, moves on. Scratch the car he spent 4 years restoring, and it feels personal, not because of the repair bill, but because a piece of his own story just got damaged. That's why owners can describe every flaw in their car without even looking. The faded badge. The engine's rattle at idle. A scratch on the door from 20 years ago nobody else would notice. To anyone else, imperfections. To him, chapters. Here's the 4th reason, and it's the one most videos never mention. Legacy. There's a stage in life where people stop worrying so much about what they have and start obsessing over what they'll leave behind. Psychologists call it generativity, and a classic car checks that box in a way almost nothing else in a garage does. It's not really about the car surviving. It's about being the reason it survived. Ask an owner who he's restoring it for, and the honest answer often isn't himself. It's a son who isn't born yet, or a daughter who'll inherit the keys one day, or simply the next stranger who'll take better care of it than the last one did. The bolt he tightens this morning is a message to someone he may never meet, proof he was here, and that he cared enough to keep something alive past his own ownership of it. That brings us to reason 5. Competence. If this was purely about memory, identity, and legacy, every owner would lock the car safely away and never touch it. Instead, they do the opposite. They drive it, break it, and fix it again, choosing more work and uncertainty than any new car would ever ask of them. Before we get into why, let's be honest about what that actually looks like. It's not always a proud moment. Sometimes it's dropping the smallest bolt on the car into the darkest corner of the engine bay at 2 in the morning, then spending 40 minutes on your back with a phone flashlight in your teeth, cursing quietly so you don't wake the house. Every owner has a version of that story, and almost none of them would trade it away. Why would a smart person choose that on purpose? Psychologists studying motivation found that competence, not comfort, is one of the strongest drivers of human satisfaction, central to something called self-determination theory. We don't just want the reward sitting at the finish line. We want proof that we're the kind of person capable of earning it through our own effort. Ask an owner for his favorite memory with the car, and he probably won't mention a scenic drive down the coast. He'll tell you about the day it finally started, after 3 weeks chasing an electrical fault nobody else could solve. A new car delivers convenience the moment you sign the paperwork. An old one builds confidence, one stubborn failure at a time. And that brings us to the 6th and final reason. Personality. Not everyone who loves classic cars becomes a builder. Some just become collectors of half-finished projects. Personality science says it comes down to 2 traits working together, not one. Openness to experience creates the initial pull toward curiosity and complexity. The reason a classic car looks like a puzzle instead of outdated junk taking up space. But openness alone just makes someone want the car. It doesn't finish it. Conscientiousness decides whether that want turns into a running restoration or a tarp rusting in the yard for a decade. It's why 2 neighbors can start the exact same project the same spring by the same parts, and only one of them still has a running car by winter. It was never really about who loved the car more on day 1. It was about which of them had the second trait sitting quietly underneath the first. So let's go back to that man in the garage before sunrise. Most people watching him see an old, unreliable car and a wasted Saturday. Psychology sees a person reconnecting with memories that shaped him. A piece of identity modern life rarely makes room for. A quiet promise to someone down the line who hasn't shown up yet. A rare shot at real focus in a fragmented day. And proof, one stubborn bolt at a time, that he's still capable of finishing something hard. The car was never really the point. It became a bridge between who he used to be, who he's still becoming, and who comes after him. That's probably why passionate owners almost never lead with horsepower. They lead with where they found it, who owned it before them, and who they hope will own it next. Because what they're really describing was never the machine. It was a relationship stretched across 3 generations at once, most of whom will never meet each other. So here's the question worth sitting with. If someone opened your garage today, what would they find? And who would you actually be saving it for? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if this is the kind of psychology you didn't expect to find in a car video, subscribe to Psyche Drive. Next week, we're taking the same 6 reasons and pointing them somewhere you'd never expect.